Welcome back to the Green Means Go channel. It's your host, me, here to talk about home runs, the MLB, and anything else that pops in my mind on this lovely Friday. Had you tailed all of my plays yesterday, and there were not a lot, I did not see a ton of value on the slate, you would have came up 0.94 units. Now, we are a far cry away from those days. I used to just blindly bet everything for 0.1 units and let it fly. We did not do so hot, and we've scaled it back. But yesterday was a day that had we been on that grind, we would have cashed. Jeff McNeil hit, Seiya Suzuki hit, and Isaac Paredes hit. I don't know if you guys saw the clip of Suzuki celebrating with Justin Turner. If you have not, I'm not going to spoil it for you. Just get on Twitter, get on the internet, just get on the Google and type in Justin Turner Cubs. We'll leave it at that. Seriously, do that after this video. This is where I usually put my data and my tracking. We're not doing well. We're picking the right spots, but we're not picking the right guys. Overall, you know that. If you want to sign up for Novig, you can do that. Let's talk about today. Overall, the slate does not look great, but I do think there are some really solid value positions where guys are being priced well, and I think the pitching and the weather is not as bad good as it says. So we'll start with this game in Washington. I think Miami right-handed batters are where you want to put the microscope. Agustin Ramirez, Connor Norby. I don't even mind Eric Wagaman. There's a new guy on the team, not familiar with his game too much. I believe his last name is Hernandez. His first name starts with an H. H. Hernandez, double H. H. Gregg. You guys remember H. Gregg? We had an H. Gregg in town. No longer do we have an H. Gregg. For Washington, Luis Garcia is the only lean there. Game in Philadelphia, the weather says you got to take right-handed batters with the wind. The wind is going to be hurting left-handed pullers. And I think Toronto could be a sneaky play here. Ranger Suarez is pitching for Philly. He has been solid. He did not start the year. He was injured at the beginning of the year. He's had four or five outings, and he's looked good. But I think Toronto has a handful of right-handed batters that they can put out there against him. He is a lefty, and I think they could have some success. So their money line isn't overwhelmingly good. Like if they were plus 120, I'd probably take them. They're just a slight underdog, so I probably won't do much with them, but it's an idea that I do think maybe they're being slightly undervalued in the market. Vladimir Guerrero at 6-1, Ernie Clement at 1050, and then for Philadelphia, Nick Castellanos, who I believe already has 2 home runs against Kevin Gausman in his decorated historic career. I like him at 630. Game in Baltimore, the weather may hold it back, but if the wind is neutral, I think this is a good spot for left-handed batters, specifically for Baltimore. I think there could be a lot of runs here. The total, I believe, is at 9.5 or 10, so I'm a little nervous there. If it was at 8, 8.5, I would definitely be on the over, but I think you can get 9 and 10 runs in this one. Pitching is poor on both sides. I think Baltimore has the edge just in terms of the lefties they can throw at the Angels starter. Ryan O'Hearn, 575, Cedric Mullins, 500 on ESPN are my leans. Again, guys, just a reminder, these are all leans right now. We're cooling down a little bit on our plays. I'm giving you some suggestions. I'm talking through some things organically. And if I do decide to play any of these officially with my hard-earned dollars, I will report that at the end of the video. And I'll tell you right now, there is none because we are on a 2-week hiatus playing only promos, and there are no promos for MLB today, funny enough. I think there's value in the New York Yankees Boston game. We just saw this series played in New York maybe less than a week ago, and they're back facing each other this time in Boston. I think there's value here, and I think there could be a lot of value. 2 lefties are pitching, Garrett Crochet and Ryan Yarbrough. Yarbrough has not been good. I think Boston has righties that they can throw at him. The wind is helping righties. Now, the Green Monster is out there in left field, but it's a short left field. Home runs are hit over it more often than they are hit out to right field. So I really look at Boston right-handers in this one, and we will talk King of the Diamond in a bit, but if you want to get super mega cute, pick 5 Boston right-handers, parlay them all together, and send that off for your King of the Diamond. I think Boston has a really good shot at scoring the most runs today. They'll score 3, and you guys will be in the comments calling me a moron. That's fine. It's just advice. You don't have to take it. Anthony Volpe at 12-1, I think has value. Yes, you see it. Aaron Judge, I think even he has value against Crochet here at 275. Carlos Nevarez at 830, Trevor Storer at 800, Christian Campbell, Rob Reffenschneider, all Boston right-handers are worth a look today. Game in New York, I think you got to take righties with how the wind and the conditions are shaping up. Taj Bradley has been kind of a tale of two pitchers. Lately, he's been better than not. Griffin Canning is pitching for the Mets, I believe. He's been solid, so I don't think there's going to be a ton of home runs here, but I don't think the park is a detriment. We'll just say that. So Yandy Diaz, Junior Caminero, 8 and 620 respectively. Pete Alonso, 380 on Camby. Game in Detroit is a little bit of a mix-up. They just released the pitcher. Kiter Montero is going to pitch a bulk of the innings, but I think Suter is going to start out first. Don't quote me on that. It's just hard to handicap when we don't know the pitchers at the time, and it got released a little bit too late. However, the weather says left-handed batter is here, and I think the value exceeds the pitchers and the park conditions. The books are pricing this as if it's not going to be very hitter-friendly, and I don't think, again, it's a detriment to the potential of home runs. If you remember, a few days ago, Detroit was in Baltimore, and I said the prices were insane. Like Kerry Carpenter was 220, 230. Riley Green was in the 300s. I look at this game, and I don't see conditions that warrant double the odds of that game. I don't think there's a double percent chance that these guys hit a home run in that game against Baltimore than they do today. So if we want to call those prices fair, those were fair. These prices are good. Now, I don't think those prices were fair. I think they were a ripoff. But again, this is how I think about all this. This is how I kind of judge price sensitivity and watch movement over time. I think Kerry Carpenter at 460 is good in these conditions against Martinez at home. I think Riley Green is good in these conditions at home against Nick Martinez. Look at some other left-handed batters if you want to get cute. Colorado and Atlanta, it's a decent spot with the value that you're getting on some guys and the pitching and the weather. Britton Doyle at 830, Ryan McMahon at 650, and Ozzie Albies at 680. Game in Texas, again, is tricky because we don't know who's pitching for Texas. It could be Dane Dunning. It could be Jacob deGrom. Either way, the White Sox are not typically a home run team. Tauchman hit one yesterday as a pinch hitter. Didn't even start the game. So, I probably wouldn't have much for them anyway. Maybe Tauchman. I love him. Evan Carter at 650, I think, has value, and Wyatt Langford has value, but Adrian Hauser has been just a few home runs and a lot of starts. So he's probably been one of the sharpest pitchers for Chicago. Makes me a little nervous. Texas has been on the road. They're coming back home. Their park has not been super conducive for the home run anyway. It's probably just a layoff game. Game in Houston, I really think Minnesota money line here has some value. Again, slight underdog, kind of like Toronto. I favor Minnesota more. If you want me to maybe pose a counter argument to my Boston discussion about them scoring the most runs today, Minnesota is a close second. I think that this team could put up a lot of runs in this park against the rookie in Colton Gordon. Royce Lewis at 560, Carlos Correa. Don't sleep on the revenge game. The Carlos Correa comes home to Houston to play in the stadium where he made a name for himself, 5-1 against a lefty. It looks good to me on Camby. Jeremy Pena, 660. Jose Altuve, 760 for Houston. If you have to go with anybody, I think runs are possible in this game. I would lean the over in this game. Not an official play, not even an unofficial play. It's just a thought process. I think you get a lot of bat to ball in this one, and I think Minnesota runs away with it. Game in Kansas City, not my favorite park to play. Jack Caglione is due. He's going to hit one. He's a pile driver. He's a monster smasher. He's a big dog daddy supreme. Don't clip that. 10-1 is a good price, even at this park in these conditions. Vinny Pasquantino, 7-1. Game in Milwaukee. Milwaukee just got rid of Aaron Savali, their pitcher, and got Andrew Vaughn from the White Sox. So that'll be interesting. I don't know. It's weird to think about Andrew Vaughn in this lineup. He's kind of I picture him kind of like a Rhys Hoskins, just kind of a guy who goes out there and swings hard. So, I guess that's what the MLB is. It's home run or strikeout these days. But it's definitely not home run. You know what I mean, guys? Am I right, chat? So interesting addition for them today. Lars Nootbaar, 650, I think is fine. Christian Yelich, 640, I think is fine. I think you see 4 home runs in this game or you see 0. I don't know which one it's going to be. I don't love it. I probably wouldn't touch it even if I was playing picks. Maybe Nootbaar. Game in Arizona. is interesting. Kolek is pitching for San Diego. He's given up 3 home runs in 7 starts, and you may be tempted to say, oh, okay, well, it's pretty average. But you look at his game logs, he's given up 3 in one game to Seattle and 0 in the other 6. So again, when I look at that, I say that 3 out of 6, that average is misleading. Look at the distribution. The distribution says, oh, he does not give up many home runs. He had a bad game. You could chalk that up to he didn't have his best stuff that day, and he got hit hard. So, whatever that case may be, maybe Seattle had he was tipping pitches. I don't know, right? Like Seattle just could have had it. There could have been a lot of factors. The point is, I think it's a bad matchup for Arizona. However, these prices are pretty darn good. Ketel Marte at 620 is not a price you see very often on him. And, I'm willing to play that against this matchup in Kolek, and maybe even in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning when a reliever comes in. He's a guy that can hit one at any time. Josh Naylor at 8-1 is fine as well. Jackson Merrill at 6-1 on Novig. Jake Cronenworth at 9-1 on FanDuel are some other leans. Wrapping it up, then we'll talk about King of the Diamond. Game in Seattle. I don't see nothing special here. Nothing special overall. These are just giving you some ideas. If somebody forced me to play people in this game, these are the guys I would pick, but I probably would stay away. Jose Ramirez, Polanco, Rowdy Tellez. And then finally, the game in LA is interesting. I looked at the pitching matchup. It's Yamamoto versus Webb. Typically, I would say, Yamamoto, not interested. But when I looked further, there are some weaknesses in Yamamoto. As a right-handed pitcher, typically I'd go lefty, but when I looked at his game logs and I looked at his stats, he's giving up significantly more home runs to right-handed batters. So Willy Adames and Wilmer Flores are leans. I think it's an overall bad matchup for the Giants, so not going to get too into that. It's just some suggestions. Guys I think are fine at those prices. But at LA, again, Webb is typically a guy I stay away from, but some of these guys have seen Webb 20 and up plate appearances. They've seen him a lot. So if you want to look into that, feel free. Max Muncy has 3 homers against Logan Webb. Freddie Freeman may have 1 or 2. So, when a batter has that much history against him, it's generally advantage batter. Max Muncy and Freddie Freeman would be my unofficial leans at 520 and 560. All right, King of the Diamond. Last time I forgot this. You guys let me know in the comments. Today I will not make the same mistake. I already mentioned that I think Boston or Minnesota scores the most runs today. So, that's guys, the odds that I am correct, like hear me loud and clear. I'm not perfect. I'm not going to make, so many times people come in the comments, and actually quite less than they probably should. You guys are awfully gracious historically against what I do and say. But you have to understand that you need to only tail this if you feel the same way. If you don't feel the same way, don't listen to me. Do what's best for you. You're going to be ticked if you tail me and say, I knew Miami was going to score the most today. Why don't I just trust myself? Trust yourself first. But if you look and you like Boston and Minnesota, by golly, that's two sources of information that agree. Why not run with it? All right? So I think those 2 teams are going to score the most runs. So if you want to agree with me, you don't have to. I think the best thing you could do is to pick 2 from one team, 3 from another. And parlay just that. Put all your eggs in the same basket and hope you hit. Now, I can't play this promo anyway because of my limits, but I especially can't do that because same game parlay limits are worse than regular parlay limits. So some of you may not even be able to get money down on a same game parlay of 2 home run hitters, but you may be able to do it if you pick 1 per game. DraftKings is weird, limits are weird, everything's weird. Anyway, if I could play this promotion, if I could get down on this promotion, this would be what I would submit. Eric Wagaman, Ryan O'Hearn, Carlos Navarez, Royce Lewis, and Ozzie Albies. These are teams that I think have sneaky chances to score the most runs on the slate, and these are guys on those teams that I do not think people will pick. That's the recipe. What team is scoring the most runs? What player on that team is hitting a home run that nobody else is picking? That's how you get $3,000 free bets in your account. That's what you want from this promotion. You don't want a $30 free bet. Nobody wants a $30 free bet. So don't pick Aaron Judge. Don't pick Shohei Ohtani. All right? It's not worth it. That's my advice. I may be wrong. My wife and kid are leaving today. They're headed to Florida. I'm staying home, and so we're gonna be cranking the content, and hope you'll be around for it. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow. Love you.